Big story. Fucking Seaside got hit again.
Boy, God hates you, Jersey. God hates New Jersey.
I don't know. God.
Right after we were talking about fire on the beach.
Right. A lot of people are hurting today, but I think someone set that fucking fire. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's a business that, maybe a little, what they used to call the old Jewish lightning.
Oh, yeah. So somebody's like, you know what? Let's just get rid of this thing.
Well, look, the hurricane came through and fucked up the businesses, and they're trying to make the big comeback. And someone out there probably had a really, really bad season. Well, most of them had a really, really bad season, but there's probably one business that was like, look, we can't do this
Can't
anymore.
afford this. Yeah, burn it down.
It seems way too suspicious,
And then
doesn't
all
it?
of a sudden it got a little windy, and it's like, it's taking everybody's businesses.
Yeah, I would. I bet the
boy.
one business was probably thinking, all right, I'll just, mine will be taken out, maybe a little collateral damage, but nothing too bad.
Wipes out 80% of the fucking boardwalk.
And then the winds come sweeping in, and it took out 82 businesses. It pretty much took out everybody.
Crazy.
I don't think there's anyone standing.
It was huge, yeah. Huge fire.
You got to think it's suspicious, no?
Fuck yeah, man.
Is that bad to say?
What? No, if you think it's suspicious,
I think it's suspicious.
they'll believe me. The geniuses, and they'll figure it out. They'll know exactly where.
Yeah.
Well, it was 2 matches as opposed to originally we thought 3. How the fuck do you know that? When they
It really
backtrace
is
a
amazing.
fire,
Yeah.
holy shit!
Yeah,
It really is amazing.
that's an amazing science.
Here's my analysis. It was hot. Thank you.
Thanks, Bert.
But that's just horrible. And then the boardwalk, they just kind of rebuilt. They had to rip apart to fight the fire.
Yeah, that's something.
No,
There's no-
it's the end of the summer, though, right? So
Huh?
it's the end of the summer. So these businesses would, not that it's good, but it would be closing
Yeah,
soon
they'll
anyway.
build it back up again.
It's there was no fun in
Man,
Funtown
that is
yesterday.
really fucking being windswept.
Yep.
Holy shit.
Devastating fire hits Jersey Shore, dozens of businesses. Well, this is an earlier report because now they're saying 82 businesses. Oh, is this live right now?
Unbelievable. You said the good news that it's Friday. The good news is really that we've had a downpour this morning to help the firefighters out. Not sure how much you can see, but you can see the hook and ladder trucks behind me. Many, many, many of them. More than 400 firefighters out here trying to battle this thing that started yesterday afternoon and destroyed about 30 businesses. A state of emergency on the Jersey Shore.
Holy fuck.
Hundreds of firefighters battling a massive inferno that raged into the night.
Wow.
The fire finally under control. The fast-moving blaze destroying dozens of businesses
That's amazing.
in a 6-block
lot
stretch
of fire.
in just hours along the boardwalk between Seaside Park and Seaside Heights.
6 blocks.
2 communities hit hard by Superstorm Sandy nearly 1 year ago.
I said to my staff, I feel like I want to throw up.
This amateur video shows the fire
we laugh
erupted
'cause it's
at this
Christy.
ice cream
Sorry.
stand just after 2 p.m. on
Wow.
Thursday.
Don't go in there!
Within hours,
Don't
the
go
fire
in there,
engulfed
thanks.
block after block, spread by high winds gusting over 30 miles per hour.
My manager came in the stand and told me
Gave
to
me
get
a
out
smile,
because there was
'cause he
smoke
knows
coming
that
up
it's
through
me.
the boardwalk. We ran away and turned around again, and there was just flames coming out of the building.
The inferno so big, first responders had to pump water from this nearby bay. The fire eventually contained by a 20-foot wide trench built by firefighters.
Within 15 minutes, there was more flames than I ever seen in my life. I got scared.
Gay people?
It was amazing. It's terrible what's going on. It really is.
It's horrifying what's going on here. The whole town, the people that grew up here, the people that work here are suffering a lot
Get
of
it.
damage.
After everything that we just went through for rebuilding everything, especially the shore, and to know that it's all burning down now. I'm sorry.
The thick
Should
black
be.
smoke could be seen for miles. Governor Chris Christie urging the public to stay out of the area.
My advice to you, in fact, my admonition to you is do not come here.
Ever?
Do not travel. Stay away.
This area near the Funtown Pier, one of the few stretches of boardwalk that survived Sandy, now has fallen victim to this incredible
there goes
fire.
Funtown.
The neighboring pier's roller coaster washed into the ocean became a symbolic image of Jersey String. Repairs to the boardwalk after Sandy completed in time for its summer season, reopening this May. The state's resolve being tested once again.
Wait.
And listen, this is us. So we'll, as soon as this is over, We'll pick ourselves up, we'll dust ourselves off, and we'll get back to work.
Now, was the new boardwalk destroyed, or is this an old area?
Parts of it.
Yeah.
Parts of it. I'm not sure how much of it, but yeah, the firefighters had to kind of rip it up.
Weren't there a lot of old buildings that were all those businesses were old businesses, weren't they?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, it was the boardwalk that wasn't okay.
Yeah, they redid the boardwalk, and then supposedly they had to take a lot of the boardwalk out.
Whoopsie.
Oh, the NFL commissioner. Oh, this Redskins thing.
They really want to force them to change their name, huh?
I don't think they should. I want them to change the name, but I don't want them to be forced to. I want them to do it because they think it's... Very rarely do I agree with political correctness.
Well, remember the whole thing about the minority gets the big voice? The commissioner said something like, if one person speaks up, we have to listen to them.
Which is not true. He's an idiot. He's a dope.
That's you got to listen to the majority, but we don't when it comes to this political correctness. It's unbelievable. They know where the fire started. Okay. This guy might have more info than we do.
Somehow I doubt it.
Yes.
He's in South Carolina, too. That makes it a little...
Yes.
Kevin, what do you got, buddy?
Hey, I'm from Jersey. I just live here. Hey, I was watching the news this morning, and they said it started in one of those custard stands. It's Coors, K-O-H-R-S. I think it's pronounced Coors.
Yeah, we saw that on the news.
Right.
Yeah, so they already, probably didn't take much figuring. They probably just said, holy shit, the custard stand's on fire, But, yeah, they figured out where it started already. And,
wow.
So I got...
You wonder, was it? I guess it was. Oh, it was during the day, so it wasn't. It probably wasn't set because don't go in there. There was people milling about. It wasn't like it was a middle of the night thing.
Yeah. 2:30. 2:30.
2:30
in the afternoon. Yeah.
What do you think? Was it like electrical?
I don't know. Could have been. Yeah.
Fire.
Yeah.
What else could start a fire like that in a fucking
ice cream? Flammable ice cream. Yeah,
it's pretty.
Oh, I'm actually a fan of flammable ice cream. It's delicious.
Yes.
You have to eat it before it melts.
It's really tough to set ice cream on fire.
Yes, ice cream
makes this a
doesn't
little
really
more
burn.
suspicious.
Yeah.
And frozen custard.
Frozen custard.
I don't know. Something seems a little suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
And this just shows you what food issues are like. Because I'm not thinking of the fire. I'm thinking of how delicious some frozen custard would be.
God,
fucking asshole I am.
That is good stuff.
That's just horrible, though.
Yeah.
What's the coincidence, though?
Or Jersey.
Same place that gets destroyed by a hurricane gets destroyed by a fire.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little strange. But
and no one got hurt, right? Like no one.
No.
Some firefighters, but
yeah, there's no one really down there, especially during the week. After the season, maybe you hit up those places on the weekend.
There, yeah.
But there's only what 20. They said there's 2,800 or 28,000 people that live there, and then it balloons up in the summertime. Whatever.
Yeah, all those houses are.
Yeah.
You're talking about the Redskins?
It's annoying me.
Ultimately, I don't think it's Roger Goodell's decision. He said that, it's the Redskins owner's decision. He says he'll never change the name, and he has no intention to sell the team.
Right.
So
there you go.
He basically said, like, we'll listen if somebody complains. But in the end, the name's been approved by the NFL, and the owner is the only person who can change that name.
Right.
And he is, right now at least, is adamantly saying, I will never change the name.
I absolutely love that guy because political correctness is getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
But there's so many websites
how many people really?
that
But how many people are actually
Redskins?
But how many are actual football fans?
Who?
That are starting that shit.
Oh, I know. One reporter for Sports Illustrated, his website, they just refer to them as the Washington football team.
Oh,
see, I don't like that.
Yeah. Do they really?
Stop.
Yeah. There's a radio host on this platform that doesn't call them by the Redskins.
Who's that?
Greg Opie Hughes?
Fez.
Doesn't?
Jesus Christ. Oh, fuck. You're kidding.
Why? He's not Indian.
He finds it offensive.
He doesn't like social injustice.
Yeah.
But I told you, I thought it was ridiculous.
I want to fucking puke.
I saw them.
Chris Christie.
I saw them explain themselves, and when I saw American Indians explain themselves, it didn't feel PC to me. What they were saying was like, "Look, this is why we find this really." I was like,
"Ugh." Listen why?
Look, man.
But it was like, in fairness, if they wouldn't dare, let the owner of the Redskins, who's so ballsy with this. How about you do something with fucking blacks?
The Sambos.
Or even a piece of a fucking jersey that shows a black player and cartoon his lips a little bit,
right?
Or show a fucking do it like if you want to be. If this guy's so balls to the wall, then. Of course not. He wouldn't dare.
Well, what about, though, you call him, okay, because that's not an offensive thing.
How many times
have
you
call
heard someone
the Zulus
being called a Redskin?
You haven't. I mean, I haven't, but American Indian, of all the people they've gotten,
and the reason why
they
called the team the Redskins, what's the reason? It wasn't based on anything racist or anything like that.
But it's the whole thing of it's a proud warrior thing. It's
right.
It's not looked at as demeaning. I mean, it's like, yeah, look at him. He's a fucking proud Indian warrior. So if you had a black guy, but it was like a caricature of stereotypical black guy face or something, that would be bad. But if you had a team called the Zulus, where it's some, proud black warrior, how would that be offensive?
There's something about the way they described it, and again, this was something I hadn't considered till they said it. Was that there's something about cartooning warriors and all our culture. They like if you showed the Zulus, the outrage or the fucking backlash for that would be absolute.
Do you think
and
it
immediate.
would?
I know it would be,
but
without a doubt.
They're not cartooning the logo's not a cartoon. The logo is like Anthony said. It's a photo of a proud warrior.
It's not like the fucking
if anybody
Braves
really,
is worse
if
than
anybody
that.
really wants to be outraged, shouldn't you be outraged at like the Indians logo or Chief Nakahoma?
Chief
Like
Nakahoma.
nobody talks about that.
That's why I kind of side with the American Indians because they're the only fucking group. They're the only group that has to deal with this shit.
Yeah, but they're not making a big stink about the Indians or the Braves. It's
they don't like. Oh yeah, they have.
Yeah, but you don't hear about it. When do you hear about that in the news? When do you
I
hear
think this is more when
do you hear Bud Selig saying, well, we have to listen to some people that are offended by the.
Well, I think that for them, I think Redskins is the worst. I believe that was what I remember them saying is something to do with it. That was how they were referred to Indian bodies.
That's fine. Like I'm sure I don't understand, from their point of view.
Right.
Like I'm, not trying to pretend I
do. I just feel you can't fold to political correctness ever at this point because it's getting so ridiculous and out of hand.
See, I agree with you on that principle. Just because it's PC, I don't want to be against it just because it's PC.
Right.
Like I tend to push back against any language fucking changes, and once in a while they'll come up with one. You go, all right, that actually makes sense.
Well, the problem is you're logical, but we live in a world where no one's logical anymore. It's like we got to get rid of everything around us. Like it was told to me at the school the other night. I forgot to tell you that the kids will sit crisscross applesauce.
Oh yeah.
Oh, not Indian style.
They've started with that.
way.
I mean, that shit's been in the schools for a while. I'm like, what? You can't say
crisscross.
You can't say sit Indian style.
That doesn't even make sense. Applesauce.
Did Indians sit that way or not?
Voss had the greatest joke about that Indian style. He goes, "Should I get a bottle of whiskey and lay on the curb?" Fucking mean Voss.
That is mean.
But my point is, why is that offensive? Did Indians sit like that or not? So when your child sits that way, why is it bad to say we're going to now sit Indian style?
Indian style.
I never second guessed that as a kid. No. I was never
I never even thought
second.
twice about it.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean about the political correctness, and we have to get rid of all of it because it might be somehow possibly offensive to somebody somewhere.
And Indian red crayon. They changed the name in Crayola, and it didn't even mean American Indian. It was like India red. It was red from the clay of India, so it was Indian red. But they changed the name anyway of that crayon.
Well, why was that offensive? Just explain to me why this stuff is offensive.
I think because they feel that they were kind of slaughtered and conquered.
Well, they made some bad decisions. We all know that.
Granted, Manhattan was not a good deal.
But
they were kind of treated shitty for a long time, and then all of this stuff that kind of caricatured or cartooned them. And now this is like one of those things where I don't think it's being crazy PC to listen to them on certain things. I think if there's the word, there are times where political correctness is just like a fucking despicable, ugh.
Yeah.
But then there are times where it's like,
I don't think you should shove it down people's throats, this Redskins thing, when there's so many other issues they could be putting energy behind that really means something. This doesn't mean anything. And the people that want it to be called Redskins aren't all of a sudden going to be like, okay, I agree. They're going to be like, ugh, you made us fucking change.
Where does the term Redskins come from? Can we look at that up? Because I heard their explanation
that too. I've heard that it's like piles of red skin. They were just called Redskins because their skin was a redder tone from being out in the sun than the white man that came in the ships.
But they also used the clay.
Yeah, a lot of red clay and shit like that. So I don't think it had anything to do with their bodies.
What?
The origins are disputed.
Yeah.
Yes, it is disputed. But up until recently, when they wanted to make a case for Redskin, I never heard that Redskin of the bloodied red skins before they wanted to pull the name.
I had them. I had always assumed they were called Redskins just because they did have that redder tone.
Yes.
And I remember the guy saying, and so when they would kill however many Indians there were, that was how they referred to. There'll be like a bunch of slaves being shot or stabbed to say, yeah, we got 5 Blackskins in this thing, and they just find it.
I just heard it's like, oh, look out, there's a bunch of Redskins over that hill.
Yeah, maybe.
You know,
Okay.
like, yeah.
Right.
Like in the Westerns, they call them that. You know, like, look out, there's a big town of Redskins up around. It wasn't when they were dead, you know, here's what's left, Redskins.
Yes.
I never heard of that.
Ridiculous.
Never heard of that. I don't think it's true. I think it's propaganda.
Right. What's going on with the Blackhawks? Because a lot of people are calling about
boy.
the Blackhawks, too.
Blackhawks.
They're saying some of that shit's going on in Chicago.
I'm sure it is.
Because
they
it's
have an Indian as their logo.
So you just can't have Indians as
boy.
logos.
Blackhawk Indians.
Right.
All right. So, but they were real.
Yeah, I highly doubt that the NHL created that team because they said, let's be offensive to Indians.
Of course.
Will
We
they
all
do it
know
with
that.
a black face or a Jewish face? even one of honor. Even like Ant said, like not a cartoon or a caricature.
Right.
But how about a black guy, just a black face and a team called the Blackskins?
But that doesn't make sense. Like Indians have this warrior spirit. This
That's where it all
pride.
came from.
It comes from a place of looking at them and saying, wow.
Yeah.
Like
They were
we
they
want
were
a team
strong.
logo that's strong and proud,
Right.
and so that's why you wouldn't do it just like okay, the fucking Brooklyn Jews.
No.
It's like what they're
Didn't we all
they're
grow-
horrible at their sport, but boy, can they count?
And didn't we all grow up thinking Indians were really fucking cool when you started learning
Yes.
about them? You were like, oh, fuck, man.
Yeah.
You didn't think like,
on.
what a bunch of pussies.
Right.
How about,
Ever.
But the Zulus, like you said, that is a good example. They're warriors. And say, out of respect, there were Zulu warriors just shirtless with a bone in their nose, which is how they would have dressed.
Right.
True to the native thing, not caricaturing, not mocking them, the Blackskins, because that's what they are.
I think if a team was formed in the 30s, let's say, and they were called the Zulus, I think up until recently, relatively speaking, you wouldn't have heard anything. And then if you did, it would be the type of Reverend Al horse shit saying, oh, you got to get rid of this racist name and stuff. It's like, why? You're kind of paying tribute to
The Blackhawks
powerful...
were founded in 1926, and they were named the Blackhawks because that was a prominent figure in the history of Illinois, the Blackhawks, and they were named that in honor of the military unit, making it one of many sports teams using Native Americans as icons.
Yeah, it was just a thing to do.
Sure.
It was one of those things to do. What about the Notre Dame Fighting Irish?
That's the only one I can think of that's
But
not.
what
That was brought up to Fez yesterday.
Little fucking
isn't that
little midget-looking
Isn't that
fucking
offensive?
leprechaun-y Irish
Maybe
guys
it doesn't bother
fighting.
them though. Like they haven't complained about it. Like if they don't like it, they can complain about it.
That would be bothersome, right? That Irish people are known to just be fighters.
That's terrible.
All we do is fight.
fighting Irish.
Right.
But I'm not bothered by that.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
But what
we
if
shouldn't be
one
bothered
person-
by
what if
any
one
of this.
Irish person is.
But that's why I said I don't agree with when one person complains. You have to listen. I don't agree with that. I don't subscribe to that at all.
I'm not bothered by any of them across the board. Period. So ridiculous. It's exhausting.
The only one.
No
I
one had a
agree with.
problem with the Redskins for decades. No one even thought twice about it.
Now all of a sudden.
But in this new world we live in, everyone's running around trying to figure out what can we change next.
Yeah, it's a power.
That's what's going on here, and that's why I have a problem with this. Growing up, we never heard one person having a problem with the Redskins name. Not one. But now it's like, okay, what can we change next? That's what's going on out there.
I agree in a lot of cases. That's correct. I think that's the way it is. Only with these, for some reason, these issues, when they said it, I heard them. They just made hearing them explain themselves made a lot of sense to me. It wasn't. It didn't sound knee-jerk reaction. It didn't sound like that to me. It didn't feel like they were going. And then we want like. It didn't sound like they were being PC babies. And believe me, I was prepared to think, fuck these guys.
Well, we got a guy, Tom. He makes a pretty good point here. Go ahead, Tom. North Carolina, go.
Hey, good morning, guys. I was up on the Cherokee Reservation last week in North Carolina doing a little fly fishing, a little gambling. Those fuckers were all dressed up in their warrior outfits, trying to scam every single person that walks by to come watch them do their war dances and hit you up for a tip. Hey, we don't get paid here. We don't solicit, but we'll pass the hat around for you to put money in.
Oh, yeah, they'll have no problem dressing up like warriors.
Well,
to make a few bucks.
That's them doing it, so.
Then they're making fortunes off casinos. And then if you fish on their reservation, for some reason your license doesn't cover it, so you have to pay them an additional $10. Those fuckers are raking in money. Fuck them.
All right. They got really fucked, and the reality is, I'm not saying we have to give everything back, but they got fucked.
They were too trusting, you know.
Pretty hard to fight.
They were extremely happy when they saw those ships come to America.
Superior firepower, you know. A little hard to argue with that.
A bit trusting.
Yeah, a little trusting.
And bad in their decision making.
Came with their maze, and we came with fucking muskets.
All they wanted was new friends.
They brought corn to a gunfight.
Right. They were like, ooh, new friends. And we just fucked them over.
New friends.
They were just so excited, like, ooh.
Hey, who are these people?
New people we could hang with, and they got cool stuff.
They seem neat. They have stuff that's shiny.
Right. Wow, we don't have to live outside anymore if we just become friends with them.
Yeah. Oh, whoops.
Yeah, I wonder how long. Eventually, they're going to change the name. They will all change their names.
Think?
Absolutely. They absolutely will.
And I think that would be, just very disappointing.
Yeah, a lot of people won't be happy with it. A lot of people.
That's why when the whole N-word discussion started and nappy and all that, I'm like, you gotta stop. Right? Everyone has to fight this immediately. And fast forward a few years now, they're trying to get rid of so many words from the English language.
Yeah, I don't think they should get rid of any of them.
Of course not. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, but I mean, once they change the name, we'll all forget about what they used to be called.
Remember Red Storm?
And we won't. Still wear their merchandise. And they certainly won't capitalize on that by making vintage Redskins merchandise.
Right.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, they might. I mean, they might.
Absolutely will.
But it's still, there are certain times, even in a politically correct, shitty environment, which we hate as people who speak for a living, there are times where somebody comes up and says something, and to me, it just makes sense, even if it's not.
I'm not there yet, Jimmy.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm not saying you're wrong, by the way. I'm just not there. Because I just know that people are doing this blindly at this point.
There are a lot of people doing it blindly, and a lot of little college students will go, I just heard them explain themselves, and it made sense when I heard them. That was all.
There you go. We're looking at the Notre Dame logo, the Fighting Irish. That is offensive to Irish people.
They do love to fight and drink, though.
Oh my God, yeah.
Fuck,
it's accurate.
Bunch of fucking lushes, those Irish.
Because you think if you change the name Redskins, like, even though I know nobody wants to give in to PC shit, how does it hurt when you think about it logically? What is the downside to it? Like, what is it about the name Redskins that means so much? If history is so important, well, it's the history of the team. Then how come the history of the fucking, people it's cartooning means nothing? Why is it so important?
Find me one article from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s where someone had a problem with the name. Like, all of a sudden, it's a new problem. That's what drives me nuts, too. Why is it a new problem all of a sudden?
I heard them, I don't, it was years
60s.
ago.
When did they come into the league?
I don't know.
Well, there was other
60s,
problems in the
obviously.
60s. Just half our population and the 10% of our population in the great free country was still trying to get the right to vote.
Right.
Well, then should the Indians change their name?
What do you mean?
Cleveland Indians?
I mean, eventually, probably, yeah. It's like, because again, you don't do, if every group got the same, I just want people to be treated fair.
Sure.
If every group got the same, I would say no, but you can't do it. And the owner of the Indians wouldn't have the fucking balls to cartoon another fucking culture. He'd be terrified to do it. But because this one's been here, it is what it is. The lack of balls by these guys and the way these NFL guys cave in if you say something about fucking Cubans and they fucking, you're fired, you're off the air. They cave into everything.
But you're not giving your sports team a wimpy name. The Redskins, they're proud that they call their team the Redskins. That they're warriors and strong fucking players.
Chiefs.
Like Chiefs.
What about the Chiefs?
The Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah. Like, there's two football teams that, I understand that the Redskins is a more offensive name, but how come no one is talking about the Chiefs?
Well, they will next. Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Wouldn't you just want to lump them in together and just get it over with?
This weird PC world we live in, which I truly believe is an extreme minority, that they're not going to stop. That's why you got to fight it. They'll get the Redskins to change their name eventually, and then they'll go, all right, let's move on to Kansas City now.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're concentrating on Washington because of where it is.
It's possible.
You know what I mean? Because it's D.C., it's Washington. I wonder if they make the most noise there because that's where, everything, politicians are.
Their logo,
I get it. The Redskins is a more offensive.
Yeah.
Arrowhead.
Their logo is an arrowhead. That should be a problem, right?
Ugh. Yeah. What about the religious fucking things with the Padres? I don't like that. I don't like bringing religion into fucking baseball. Get that fucking shit out of there.
Is Padres connected to any religion, or is it just the idea of it?
I don't know. That old
The Chiefs
fucking...
play at Arrowhead Stadium.
Arrowhead. That's their logo.
But it's funny, the owners will fight like that. Like, we're not changing anything. Throw enough money at them, and fucking 80% of them will change the park name. Yeah, here's the fucking Frank's Bank. Come to the Frank's Bank Park.
I'm not saying they're perfect.
Those fucking prostitutes.
That is
I'm
true.
not saying.
It's
Where's all their team pride when it comes to the fucking name of the fucking thing? Where was Shea Stadium? Hey, this is Shea Stadium. We're not changing it. $200 million. Here it is. The bank theme park. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Here comes the bank, people.
You're right.
Oh, wow.
They don't object then.
That's a knockout punch by Jimmy.
They'll change the name when it comes to that. You're right.
Yeah.
Padres name refers to Spanish Franciscan friars who founded San Diego.
Yes.
Okay.
See?
What about the LA Kings?
Uh-oh. What is that? Gangs, right? Gang-related? Like that? Gotta be.
I think it's just all ridiculous.
Really? What's a raider? Is that a pirate?
Yep.
Yeah, see?
It's offensive.
You're working toward a world where
I almost really bombed.
Yeah.
When you said, what's a raider, I almost said someone that goes on Yelp, writes reviews. Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah, you almost said that.
Thank God I didn't.
That's one of the things we talked about in with Kevin Pollak yesterday.
Yeah.
I was going to say.
Is there any footage of Indians explaining why they don't like it? Like,
Not really. If you ask them, most of them don't give a fuck either, to be completely honest with you.
Why are the Cleveland Browns called that? What is that?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Honestly.
I'm going to find out right now, but it is the dumbest name ever.
It's a stupid name. We're the Browns!
And where does that come from?
Origin. Answer. Cleveland Browns. Football.
Originally intended to be called the Panthers, they were named instead for their first head coach.
Wow. Really?
Yep, Paul Brown.
That is so stupid.
At least he's got a cool name, though. Thank God he wasn't, Paul Kunt with a K. K-U-N-T, silent E.
You know what?
Yeah.
This is why the whole thing is ridiculous. Thank you, Eddie in Jersey. The Vikings.
Yeah.
They were not nice people.
Right.
They were horrible people.
Have you seen those Capital One commercials?
They're very mean.
Yeah.
They were horrible people. So why do the PC people have a problem with the Vikings?
Are you saying it's selective?
Of course it is.
How about the Moors? Let's have a team called the Moors. They also rated. And how about that fucking... And you don't want to cartoon them, so how about the helmet? It's just an Italian going, with his hands up.
And then Dave makes a good point about a certain boulevard. Dave, go ahead.
Yeah, why aren't black people offended that all the Martin Luther Boulevards are in the shittiest neighborhoods?
That's just because white people vote him down, I think. You're not going to see a Malcolm X Boulevard and fucking $1 million homes.
And if you had a team named the Blackskins, you'd have to have a sideways pointed gun with it.
Oh, boy.
Oh, wow.
You tried.
No, that's just...
oh, sir.
Tried for a hilarious racist comment.
Doing so well.
Felt miserable.
Anthony's going to love this.
Yeah.
I'm a douche, he said.
Yes, you are.
It would be cool to have Martin King Boulevard in a really nice neighborhood. It would throw off everybe.
That would be funny.
Right?
Yeah, I live on Martin Luther King Boulevard.
In a really nice, solid fucking house.
I bet there'd be a problem. I bet someone would have a problem with that.
People living there.
I bet the people living there would be afraid to say anything, but I bet the black leaders would be like, why are you honoring this man in a neighborhood that doesn't give back to the community? And yeah, that fucking joke about Malcolm X Boulevard, the corner of Malcolm X Boulevard and Martin Luther King Boulevard. There's going to be some violence.
What a great bit. Let me say hi to Eric in New Hampshire. Eric.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hey. Are you a Pats fan?
Well, yeah.
Brady has no receivers. You saw that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Jets played really shitty and only lost 13-10 last night. But fucking Brady has... What's going on? Are they all young receivers?
Yeah, I mean,
up there?
He lost one because he's possibly a serial murderer.
Right. Serial. Could be a serial killer.
Yeah.
And his replacement loves to drop balls.
Wes Welker went to Denver.
Yeah. Brady was having a tantrum on the sidelines last night. They won, but they're like,
look, they barely beat the Bills and they barely beat the Jets.
Right, and the Jets, we're kind of rebuilding. We've got a rookie quarterback. Gino looked
he barely
just so.
Well, it's his second game.
No, I know.
And he lost to Tom Brady by 3.
I know. And it was 3 interceptions, too. So he played really shitty, and the Pats barely won. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead there, New Hampshire.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's great to talk to you guys. I've been listening to you guys since Boston AF and all that. As far as politically correctness, I mean, I've been sent to sensitivity training for things because I refuse to give up words like midget. I've been told I can't come back to a PTA meeting at my daughter's school because when they were talking about special needs and special ed, I was like, oh, what is he, retarded? And as soon as that word came out of my mouth, it was like, there's a parent here that, until their child is out of school or out of the school district, I won't be able to go back to a PTA meeting before just saying that one word.
You got kicked out of the PTA for saying retard? You're a retard for saying it.
I do believe you got to be sensitive to some of these issues. You just don't blurt out retard.
You
just
feel
like
where you are.
Huh? Yeah, you should be.
Why don't you just stop saying it? If somebody says, please stop saying that, you could be like, okay, I won't say it around you anymore.
Yeah,
it's hard. Yeah, it's hard if someone's kid is mentally retarded to say retarded in front of them.
Right.
If you know that it really bothers them, you can't go. Well, why does it bother? Well, how come Jews doesn't? They're like, well, my son's mentally retarded. It's hard to argue with that.
You should be able to say the word, but you also should maybe be a bit sensitive. Yeah. Somewhere in between, I think. I don't know.
Oh, it wasn't so much that I did it intentionally. It was just it slipped out, and it was like, oh, you can't say that. I'm like, oh shit, here we go.
What do they call the kids with this? I guess they call them special needs.
They're mostly special needs.
But isn't that a problem? Isn't that pointing out the fact that they're different than everyone else? Like
it used to be special ed. Now it's not special ed. It's special needs now. They don't have a special ed wing anymore. It's special needs.
I have special needs. I like being jerked off backwards with my balls being squeezed. It's like fucking very special.
That's funny.
I think the goal of the PC people is to make sure everyone is completely treated equal.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you call a kid, he has special needs, that is pointing out that he's different as well. And I would assume the PC people don't want that either in the end.
Yeah, I guess it's good.
Do not point out that people are different than others.
Eventually, they'll just be called normal squared.
Yeah.
All right, Eric.
All right, thank you guys.
All right.
Oh, thank you.
Right.
My goodness. Damn, look at that. They're showing the aftermath of the fire there as the sun comes up. There is really not much left there. Holy shit.
It just destroyed the entire 80% of the Seaside Park Boardwalk area. Wow.
Woo.
I don't know, man.
Damn.
Something doesn't seem right.
Yeah, you think
the coincidence is
the ice cream man was fucking lighting a match? You light a match. And when it's all gone, you light a match.
Well, you light a match and you take the match with you. Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
Oops, what?
Huh?
Maybe it was like an ice cream birthday cake.
I'm trying to bang this broad, Andrew. It's fucking outside in the car.
You can't assume the match is going to survive. I mean, not survive.
They'll find us.
They'll find the match. You gotta take the match with you.
It's crazy how they find origins of fire.
Yeah,
everything's destroyed.
They find that accelerant patch, that like fucking place where you had to throw down some fucking shit. They find like splatters of it and where it was poured. It's fucked up.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
right?
It really is. Fire investigators.
Yeah. Would Jimmy be mad at Blazing Saddles if they cut the Indian scene?
See, the guy who's saying that is...
Hold on, talk to him personally.
Sure.
Uh-oh.
We got Rob in Brooklyn. Nope, we don't have Rob in Brooklyn.
To answer his question, of course I'd be disgusted with that. I'm not... You don't lump me in with a bunch of bleeding hearts who go, hey, hyphenate everything, because I'm not being unreasonable like that. I'm not saying humor or anything. I'm saying the difference is fucking to call a team that with an Indian face on it is different than mocking something in a movie where they mocked everybody. It was funny. They said niggers in that. I don't want that taken out of that movie. I don't want any of that stuff taken out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would be disgusted if they changed that. Absolutely. Just like I would be disgusted if they went back over old footage of fucking Washington Redskins games and bleeped out the word Redskins or covered their fucking helmets with a little black thing. I'm not a fucking maniac, sir. I just happen to agree with people on one fucking politically correct issue. I happen to agree with one thing.
That'd be funny, man.
You're such a liberal.
And I know, and I agree with it simply because these fucking cunt owners would they fucking backpedal on every fucking PC issue, these fucking cowards. This is one they're like, we're gonna dig in first. Let your fucking announcer say, look at that monkey go. Let that fucking happen. Or let one of these other things happen, and let's see how much balls that fucking owner has. Where's your balls then?
Yeah, standing behind somebody.
Yeah, tell a black group to go fuck themselves, or tell a Jewish group or a woman's group. How about your guy does a domestic violence joke? Boy, he threw that ball. He must throw a good punch. His wife or...
Well, that's the St. Louis cunts have to deal with that one.
But you know what I mean? Just see
He's just defending the name of his team because he truly feels that when they came up with the name, it wasn't offensive whatsoever. Period.
Yeah.
And that's why he's
probably
hanging
right
in there.
It probably wasn't offensive then. It wasn't considered, you know.